I literally I answered it head on, dude. You got head on. It was a straight conflict with your question. You said, what will they gain? I said, they will gain the territory and the resources that are within Ukraine. And then I also furtherly stated, please shut the fuck up and let me answer your goddamn question. Holy shit, I am not in the mood for this. Shut the fuck up. God damn. Okay, you repeat it all day, I'll answer the exact same way. The stream's still going.
Can you hear me?
What do you want to talk about?
I can hear myself really well through your microphone.
Okay, wait, is it good now?
It's fantastic now. I can hear you loud and clear, buddy.
Alright, bro. What are we debating about?
You're the one who wanted to debate me. I don't come up with the topics, you do.
We're debating about Russia. I don't know, bro. I just joined your stream. You said debate. I thought
you're a fraud. You're a fraud, okay? You asked to call into my show. Debate me. And you want me to come up with the topic? You want me to come up with a topic? Alright, what are we talking about?
Russia and Ukraine.
Alright, sure, let's have a conversation about Russia and Ukraine. I'm super burnt out on this topic, so please don't tell me that Europe doesn't have any resources, or I'm gonna flip shit.
Alright, let's go. You start.
We probably should care about the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. Furthermore, it seems to be a bad thing for Russia to invade Ukraine, which is a sovereign nation with people that didn't actually want to incorporate within Russia. I generally go against a lot of the conflict. Whenever we have conflict between Russia and the United States of America, I think the United States of America is probably going to be the best one to control different nations throughout the world, or to have some kind of geopolitical influence. So whenever we have the option between having a completely sovereign nation of Ukraine, which is joined into NATO, and not, it seems that we probably should have Ukraine within NATO and not under Russia's control.
Okay, look. So I can tell you like to use a lot of big words and act smart.
I'm sorry, what big words did I use? I'm sorry, I can dumb it down for you real quick.
Just listen, okay?
No, you said I used big words and you didn't understand me, I'm sure. But I want to know which big words I used.
I understood all.
Oh, so if you understood all of them, then why you complain about me using big words? What big words did I use?
Big words doesn't mean I don't understand.
I'm sorry, what big words did I use though? Is my question. I'm sorry, I won't use any of them anymore.
Okay, listen, okay? I'll tell you in very simple words.
Yeah, no, please tell me what big words I used first. I want to never use them again, okay? If they irritate you, I want to never use them again. What big words did I use?
Listen. I'm just saying.
Okay.
You remind me
I'm sure.
The same way he debates.
Wow.
We do the same thing. I'm not saying I don't understand.
I've been owned. I've been owned. Destroy me, dude.
Now let me see my point. Okay. So I'll tell you the reason why we should not care about what's happening in Ukraine. The past year, I've been in 2 different countries, okay? I've been in the Middle East and I've been in Canada. I'm in Canada right now.
Sure.
When I first started, I was in the Middle East. And before being in the Middle East, I was in Canada. So when I compared my life in Canada, Middle East, and back to Canada, I was in the Middle East when the war first started. I was there maybe a couple months after it started, then I moved back last month. There is no difference in the way I live. There's no difference in the food, nothing. There's no difference. No one noticed anything and no one cares. The war does not affect anyone at all. I'm back in Canada. My life before the war by 1 year, 2 years, there is no difference. All around the world, there is zero difference.
So
can I
ask you
and other stuff, but in the grand scheme of things, it does not matter.
So you think that wars have no impact at all?
No, 100% has an impact.
So they do have impact. Okay, so they have impact on people, not only the people within. So okay, that's great. You had your little anecdote. I really want to go on. So they have affect the people within the country. They also affect wider an entire every single geopolitical conflict that will ever happen. Okay, for example, if there's 2 different territories or 2 different nations which have a conflict with each other, and they're both trying to gain territory and power, those types of wars in which places would be annexed would be a very large deal. They'd have a very large impact on how, for example, that conflict would play out. If they didn't have an impact, nobody would be invading anybody else.
No, it has an impact, but not on us. It has an impact on Russia. Obviously, it has an impact. Because Russia, when it annexes a country, it gets bigger. That's the impact. Obviously.
Yeah, it gets bigger. Would you say it gains more power as well?
What?
Would you say it gains more power as well whenever it gets bigger? Whenever they have more resources to go around?
It affects, I'm saying the 2 people it mostly affects are the 2 countries at war, Russia and Ukraine. Tell me why it affects or impacts anyone else. Don't tell me why it impacts them.
Sure. So, whenever certain countries that we have conflicts with gain more power and more resources, that is generally bad for us because we fare worse in a conflict. Furthermore, if a country that we are going to
Russia,
conflict with, if a country that we are going to conflict with gains more power than us, we sustain a large threat to ourselves. It is of our interest in order to protect those countries and those people.
we're not at a conflict. Russia and Ukraine are at a conflict. We're not at war.
Do you think that rivaling superpowers don't have conflict with each other?
No, they have conflict, but they're not at war.
You're so right. They do have conflict. That's why I said conflict and not war. You're so right. They do have conflict. That's why I said conflict and not war, and you tried to correct me. I don't know why you say that I have the big words to sound smart when you're trying to correct me when what I said was completely correct.
Conflict between Russia and Ukraine affects us because now they gain it impacts and what are they impacting? There was conflict between the Western world and Russia before the war, and now there
You are
is still
so right. There has been conflict between the Western world and Russia before the war. Russia gaining a territory such as Ukraine and the resources within it serves to give them a leg up in that further conflict. You are so right about that. Therefore, we should probably care about what happens in Ukraine.
just because look Russia. You see, you know the size of Russia, right?
Yes, I'm aware of the size of Russia.
Now, do you really think just because they added a few extra kilometers in area, they're gonna become that much bigger of a superpower?
I believe they will become a bigger superpower. I think that the larger a superpower
It's gonna be a
becomes, I
bigger
think the worse that it
superpower.
is for
It's
us.
not
Yes.
gonna be that relevant. It's not relevant.
Yes, it is. 100% is relevant. That's why, for example, Russia is invading Ukraine. It is 100% relevant. That is also the reason, for example, why places like China establish trade deals with third world countries. Because having a larger influence within the world is a good thing for your country and the interests of your country. If one country is at conflict with another country, it is actually going to be worse for that other country whenever the other one gains impact and power. 100% it would be.
Okay, you're not tell me, okay?
I can
I'm
tell
not
you
gonna
whatever
keep
you want, buddy.
No, tell me, okay? Let's say now Russia wins the war, it gets all over Ukraine, okay?
Sure.
How will that negatively affect? Like, tell me with specifics. Don't just say they're gonna have a lot more power. Whatever. What's the more power they're gonna have? Because what I see, they're trying to get Ukraine. Ukraine right now, and even before the war, was a garbage country. It was corrupt. It was a failure. Okay, so what are they gonna gain by
They're going to
annexing a
gain
failure
not
country?
only the larger territory and the resources within that nation, they are
Yes, I
also,
know,
if
but
we do not fight them on the conflict with Ukraine, we are going to be setting a precedent that we are not willing to fight against the imperialism that Russia stands for.
why do you keep avoiding my questions?
I literally I answered it head on, dude. You got head on. It was a straight conflict with your question. You said, what will they gain? I said, they will gain the territory and the resources that are within Ukraine. And then I also furtherly stated, please shut the fuck up and let me answer your goddamn question.
No, that's
Holy
not
shit,
what
I
I
am not in the
asked.
mood for this. Shut the fuck up. God
Let me
damn.
repeat my question. Let me repeat my question.
Okay, you
I
repeat
said,
it all day. I'll
let's
answer the exact same way. Go for
yeah,
it.
listen. Let's assume they won the war and now they annexed all of Ukraine. What is the negative impact that we gain? Not what the impact.
We are then in a lesser state. We then have a less of a power difference between Russia and the United States of America for that furthering conflict. In addition to that, it serves, please shut the hell up. You ask a question and then you won't let me answer it. This is bizarre.
I didn't finish my question. You cut me off. Are you stupid?
What do you mean you didn't finish your question? You asked the question twice. I'm answering it again.
You cut me off in the middle of my
Okay,
question.
sorry. I'm sorry. What was your question? I'm so sorry if I cut you off in the middle of it.
Oh, okay. Listen, okay.
I'm super listening. Okay.
Don't tell me that there's a power imbalance. What is that power imbalance? I know they grew larger. I know that they maybe.
I
now
didn't
they have
say
more
power
maybe now they have more
imbalance.
fishes combined.
I
But tell me what exactly is the power imbalance?
Would you say that, for example, economically, for example, in military supplies, the United States, and for example, in resources, the United States of America is larger than Russia? Yes or no?
Military, yes.
Yes. So, If Russia, for example, gains military power, if they gain economic power, if they gain resources, the differences between, shut the fuck up, the differences between the United States and Russia would be lesser.
How are they going to gain that through Ukraine by annexing it?
Because Ukraine has resources, they have military power, and they have territory.
Why a strong military power already before? Why? They
What?
have all that.
You're so right. They do have military power. And if Russia, for example, was to gain all the resources within Ukraine, for example, by going to war.
They don't have military power.
I can't do this debate, dude. I can't fucking do this. There's no way. You're playing dumb with me. You have to be playing dumb with me.
Media after the war, and they're all saying Ukraine is a democracy, Ukraine is this, but you don't know anything about Ukraine before the war.
What?
Before the war, they were just another failure Eastern European country. They had nothing. They don't have no economy.
They have no economy. You're so right on that. Ukraine has no economy. They have no military resources. They have nothing. And Russia is invading it for fun. You've destroyed me. My argument is no. I can see. You've won this debate.
They don't have resources.
Well, no, you are saying that they don't have resources that they would gain because my statement was is that Ukraine has resources. They have military power and they have territory. And I said that shut the hell up. And I said that by invading Ukraine. I can't have this discussion. I literally can't have this discussion. Oh my god. What the fuck? What?
All of Russia doesn't have.
What?
You're telling me all of Russia doesn't have any resources, and magically, they just need Ukraine to become this magic superpower?
Who said that Russia had no resources and they magically need Ukraine to become a superpower? Who said that? I'm curious. Which statement that I made? Shut the fuck up. Which statement that I made made you think that? Which statement that I made made you think that?
I'll tell you what statement, okay?
Yes.
You're saying that they're going to have a big impact. They're going to become this big superpower.
I said that they already are a superpower. Russia already is a superpower as far as it's concerned.
I you off, okay? Just stop cutting me off, okay?
Yo, you do cut me off. You cut me off multiple times throughout this conversation. Don't fucking bullshit me on that.
When I realized, okay, it was an accident. Listen.
Okay, buddy.
Russia, we both agreed it has resources, okay? And you're saying they're attacking and annexing Ukraine because they want the resources in Ukraine, okay? And you're saying that's going to have a big impact. Why would the resources in Ukraine have a big impact when Russia already has resources? Why does it need the extra resources?
Because when country have money, that doesn't mean country can't use more money. And when country have resources, that doesn't mean country can't use more resources. Whenever country has military power, that doesn't mean country can't use more military power. When more money and more resources and more military power, country better, country good.
So you really think that Russia just sat there in a room planning and they really thought that the war was worth it?
Yes, that's why they did it. Yes, they wouldn't have any other reason to do it. That is exactly why they did it.
All right, now tell me.
Because it is advantageous to invade. Do you think that Russia would have invaded Ukraine if they thought it would give them nothing and they just wanted to do it like, God, I'm really feeling like war today, honey. Call the tanks.
All right, thank you for that. But I'm not
you're welcome. I try.
I'm just going step by step to go back to my original question to finish because you keep going other directions. Now so now we both agree that you just said that they attacked them for the resources, and you also said
for their resources, their territory, and their military power, and everything they would gain throughout having control over a country. Yes.
So you said that they want the resources, and you also said they attacked because it will have a big impact on Russia, either economically, military, whatever. So that means they want.
They would have an impact. Yes. Yes, they would.
So now, Russia already has resources. Okay, as we agreed. Why could they not? No, sorry. I said the wrong thing. Okay, sorry.
I totally agree. Russia has resources. Yeah. By the way, I totally agree with you on that.
Why? What is the exact impact? Okay, extra impact that it will have. Russia already had resources. Okay, and it's not finished. They want this resource, they could easily get it. They want oil, they want gas, whatever they want, they can easily get it within their own country. Why will the extra resources in Ukraine boost them as much as you said they would. That they're gonna threaten, I don't know, the West.
I didn't say it would boost them so that they threatened the West
Yes,
completely and they threatened the overturning of the West. No, I never said that through any time in this conversation. This is a VOD. Anyone can rewind it. I dare somebody to clip this and put it on Twitter if I actually
So
said
what
that
did
they
you
would
say? What did
actually
you say
take
about
over. If
Ukraine?
I said that they would take over the United States of America after they invaded Ukraine, I would love for somebody to clip that because I didn't say that ever. Okay? So what I did say that was that they would pose more of a threat. Please shut the hell up. Dear God, I let you talk for ages and you won't let me get a word out. This is brutal. So whenever a country has more resources, when they have more territory, when they have more a stronger economy,
We understand that. We
please shut the
understand
fuck
that.
up. I'm begging you. I will
economic-
legitimately leave this call if you don't shut the fuck up. I will legitimately leave this call.
You keep repeating the same thing.
Yeah, you're so right because you don't understand me every other time that I said it. So I'm going to say it one more time. I hope you understand this one. So when a country has more resources, when they have more military power, when they have more territory, they generally are better off during conflicts. Whenever countries have struggles with each other, it is the goal to have more power than the other country you have a struggle with. For example, if we look at the United States and China, they are both constantly trying to have more power over more territory than the other. That is, for example, why trade deals are established with third world countries. This would be for example, the invasion of Ukraine would be an attempt to get more power. If we do not fight against the invasion of Ukraine, that sets a precedent for Russia that they can have imperialistic tendencies and we won't fight up against them. And also, it would allow them to have the resources within Ukraine. Just because Russia has resources does not mean having more resources is no longer valuable.
Okay, thank you for that again. I never said that the more resources are not valuable.
You are. You literally said they could get them within their own country, so why do they need them? You literally said that. Somebody can clip that. I don't know why you lie about saying that.
Okay, listen. At the beginning of the debate, you said that they're gonna benefit economically and militarily. Okay?
Yes.
That's what you said.
Yes, having more territory benefits you. If, for example, in places such as having a stronger military, whenever you seize the military power within that nation and the weaponry that is used when in conflict, such as seizing the resources, the natural resources within a given nation, these will all be things that benefit your country. You have power over that place of land. Yes.
All right, thank you very much again for that. Thank you.
Well, you can't. I would hope you're thankful that I'm repeating myself so much because it's goddamn tiring for me and it's annoying for my entire chat. I hope you appreciate every single time that I repeat myself because my entire chat is annoyed as fuck right now about this conversation.
Okay, now at the beginning of the debate, okay, you said they're gonna benefit economically.
Yes.
And militarily, right? Okay.
Yeah,
Before
they
the
will.
war.
They will. Objectively speaking, they will. Yes.
Okay. All right.
They gain more
Before the war.
territory. It encourages them to gain
Again,
more land. That's the reason you invade countries, is not because it doesn't benefit you.
All right. Thank you for that once again.
I really appreciate you saying thank you after every single thing I say
war.
because god damn it, this conversation is wearing me the fuck out.
So could you let me say one point
No.
before setting me off?
No, I don't think I'm gonna let you say one point. You've never said a point in this conversation. I'm not gonna let you have another one. No.
At the beginning of the debate, okay, you said they're
Holy
gonna
shit.
benefit economically and militarily. Before the war, if they wanted to increase their military and they wanted to increase their economy, they had a million different options. They could have mined, they could have got gas from their own country, they could have bought, they could have done trade deals, whatever. Okay, so that improves their economy and their military. They don't have a shortage of supply in anything.
Well, they do. For example, the Russian economy is actually pretty bad as far as it compares to other nations similar in size. For example, if you look at the Russian economy compared to, for example, the UK, it is failing on every single metric. I mean, we could build up all these metrics. This is just true. For example, having more control over territory is obviously going to give you a stronger power within a geopolitical conflict. I mean, if you really want to crunch it, and we really want to go down every single thing they could possibly gain from the invasion of Ukraine, I think that's not necessary, but we can do that. My main point throughout this conversation is it's going to give them more power to have the invasion within Ukraine, and giving them more power during our conflict between the United States and of America and Russia is probably not going to be a good thing. Furthermore, there are also people within Ukraine that we please. Oh my God, dear God, please let me say something, please. Okay.
Let me say something. You cut me off every single sentence, okay?
This is the most. It's the most tiring fucking conversation I've ever had, okay? You are convincing me to never have a single conversation with any caller ever again, okay? I'm gonna close off debates because of
Every
you,
single
buddy.
time I talk and you cut me off,
What
I
do you
am
mean?
patient. I stop talking and I let you finish. You're not letting me finish one single point.
What? You think you haven't been able to talk this conversation?
No, I haven't been able to talk. The last five
I think
sentences you've cut me off,
I think you'd be able
and
to
I have,
talk a lot, actually.
and you haven't
Well,
talked, bro.
I don't want to have this conversation
Not
anymore,
one,
actually. If you want to talk for the rest of the stream, I can just get up and leave.
bro. Tell me how the extra power that they are getting from Ukraine is relevant in the grand scheme of things. I know they will become more
Because
powerful.
when more
And the
power
power
and more
that
resources,
will be,
country better. When country better, then other countries who are
no,
also
listen,
good
bro,
are
listen,
more
listen,
challenged by country better.
bro, listen.
Country good better,
Even
better
when you
country
become
good.
the leader, they become more powerful. I know, bro. You got that point across, bro. Bro, why? Bro, no,
I
not
don't
why.
feel like I've gotten the point across because you've been
How
repeatedly
is it
challenging the
relevant?
point over and over again.
No, no, no.
You're
How
saying, well,
is it?
how could they possibly be in a better state if they invade Ukraine? How could that possibly give them more resources and more territory, more power? This just doesn't make any sense. What do you mean? Russia already have resources. Why Russia
Bro,
need more
bro,
resources?
you're not listening to my. I didn't ask you how
I
are they gonna get more power. I said
mm,
I know they will gain more power.
okay, that's great.
100% they will gain. But I'm saying, how is the extra power relevant? They're not gonna become 50% stronger. They're not gonna have an extremely strong economy after. You're barely gonna have anything better, if at all. That's what it.
They're
That is what
going
I'm
to be
saying.
having more territory, yes or no?
Yes.
They're going to be having more resources, yes or no?
More access to resources. Yes.
That's what more resources means, but thank you for correcting it, even though it didn't require correction.
No, it doesn't. I'll tell you why it doesn't mean that. I'll tell you why. Okay.
So, do
If
you
you
not
look.
think having more access to resources is equivalent to me saying they have more resources?
Oh no, no. Let me tell you why. Just let me tell you why. Okay. Okay. Look. So you know how people always say that we're running out of oil, like in the world.
Please, I don't want to go to the oil
Bro,
conversation
listen, bro.
too.
No, let me say one single point, my guy, bro.
You've
Listen,
been having to
okay?
say so many points, okay?
Bro,
You've had all
people
the
are saying
points.
we're running out of oil, okay? But you know what they're actually saying in the earth, okay? If you see, is a lot of oil. It will be impossible to run out of oil. But what they mean by that is how much oil we get back. Eventually, the oil we mine, or it's gonna be so deep down that getting it will actually we're gonna have to expend more resources than the oil will give us back. So it's not worth it. So just because they have access to resources doesn't mean that the resources are worth it. The United
But
States
it
has a lot of oil,
does, though,
but
to an extent. So
a
when I
lot of
say a
it is
country
not
has
worth
more
to take out.
resources, assuming that every single resource they have access to is not completely unworth it. If we assume that, which I think we can for this conversation, that every single resource Ukraine has isn't completely like unable to be gotten without having a net loss, right? Then the statements would be similarly or equivalent. My point
You're
is,
right.
though, is
We're
that they're
gonna
going to
benefit
be
from it,
having,
but
is
it
that they're
doesn't
going to be
mean it's
having, is
relevant.
that they're going to be having they're going to be having more resources and more access to those resources. Both of these
Okay,
statements would be
you're
true.
correct. But
Yeah,
you're
you're
correct.
so you're right. I am so
But
correct
that
in this
doesn't mean
conversation.
it's
Thank you.
relevant. But having a few extra resources does
I
not
don't
mean
want to have this
they're gonna be
conversation.
that much more powerful.
I don't
It's
want this
not relevant
conversation,
unless
dude.
they
This is
find
terrible. I will
a
let my
huge
chat
mine
vote
or
on whether we
whatever
hang up on this
of
conversation,
like a
dude. This is so
specific
terrible.
resource that they need. It's not gonna be irrelevant
What?
unless they get a lot of resources and a lot. It's not gonna be that relevant. They find a
If
quarry
they
here, a
gained
quarry there.
resources, having more resources, good, no, and therefore relevant to the conversation.
Oh, it's good, okay? But that doesn't mean it's relevant in the grand scheme of things. If they find like I don't know some
Oh my
random
god.
mine, why don't you want to admit you're wrong, man? Okay,
What do you
like
mean?
look,
What do you want me to admit I'm
listen,
wrong on? You haven't brought in any
okay,
So you want
no,
me
no,
to admit
okay.
that I'm wrong, but you haven't come up with a single argument that actually shows that I'm wrong on anything. This entire
No,
conversation has been you repeating yourself and trying to like correct super minor points of my language at the very most. Whenever we're having this conversation, you're trying to like straw man my argument to being, oh, you're saying that the second that Ukraine is taking over, fucking Russia will be able to blow the shit out of the U.S. Okay? There's nothing we can do except for conflict with Ukraine. Well, that is absolutely not my argument at all. Anybody who's listened to this conversation knows that my argument is going to be that the allowing of the taking over the territory of Ukraine is not only going to be bad because we care about the people within Ukraine and the war that's going to be going on between those people, but also because it's going to lead to a worse overall situation for the United States of America whenever it comes to Russia having control over Ukraine. That has been my entire argument this whole conversation. You haven't been able to grapple with a single argument that I've actually presented. Like, I don't even know what to say. I can't say anything anymore.
Okay, you said they're gonna have more resources. Okay, bro, they're gonna have to.
Yes,
have
they
a
are.
lot
That is true.
more
That is a
resources.
true statement. Why do you want me to concede that? That is a true statement. Whenever you take over a country and that country has resources, you have more resources. Yes.
No, I admit it's true. I never said that's wrong.
Then why do
I
you want me to
admit
concede
it's
on
true.
that? You said to concede on my point. Why would you want me to concede on that
Bro,
then?
I said concede. I said, bro, listen. Just because they
my
gain more resources, it doesn't mean that the amount of resources they're gaining is relevant in the grand scheme of things.
Any
it's
resource
gonna
that you
affect
gain
us.
is somewhat relevant in the grand scheme of things. If we are talking about the conflict between two nations, the small amounts of resources that you gain with between individual conflicts will play some kind of role whenever it comes to the larger conflict at hand. This is just a true statement. If a country is going to gain resources because it invades another country, it is worth mentioning that they are going to gain resources because they invade a given country, especially if it is a true statement to be made within the conversation. There is absolutely no way that you actually have this opinion. I refuse to believe that you're engaging with my actual arguments, and you didn't come in here just to try and spout off shit and hope that I didn't notice that you were completely fucking wrong on every single point that you brought up. Holy shit.
Okay, look, listen. I'm gonna say something. Just go step by step with me without cutting me off. Okay?
I have not cut. Dear God, okay? I have not cut you the fuck off repeatedly. Don't act like I have, okay? I've been trying to have this conversation with you in the most genuine possible way. I admit that I have been aggravated throughout this conversation, but anybody in my position who just had a debate on Ukraine where someone was saying similarly unconnected shit would also be aggravated throughout a conversation about it. Furthermore, the entire conversation that I've had with you, it feels like my arguments are not actually being addressed. You're just trying to put me in a certain pigeonhole that you would wish that I was arguing and try and combat me from there. Oh, dear God. Holy shit. Okay, they left the call. They left the call. Holy shit. I'm done. I'm so done, okay? Holy fuck. I'm only having... I feel like I should only have conversations with people who are, to some extent, knowledgeable on what they're talking about. Holy fuck, dude. I'm so mad. I'm actually so aggravated about that conversation. I'm not even gonna hide it, dude. I'm mad. I'm triggered as fuck right now. Holy fuck. I don't think it's a hard point to grasp, okay? I do not think it's a hard point to grasp, to understand that whenever a country invades another country, they gain its resources. That's not a difficult thing. That's not a hard thing to deal with. That's not like, it's not mind-blowing discovery that I've just made. There's no way anyone believes that. Fuck, dude. Holy shit. Someone said my camera's too large. Do we want to shrink the camera? Fuck it. Let's do it. Maybe I was too aggravated throughout that conversation. I'm willing to make that consent. Maybe I was way too fucking aggravated throughout that conversation that I had any right to be. I would admit that because like I'm primed going into a conversation with somebody whenever there is a conversation to be had with somebody. I just have a conversation coming off that they watched, right? And I have that conversation and the entire thing is going nowhere. I feel like I've wasted a majority of my time, and a majority of my chat doesn't like the conversation. And I have somebody else come in who are spouting very similarly stupid points that don't fucking connect to each other. I think it's kind of reasonable that I'd be upset. However, I don't think he deserves the same that kind of activity from me. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll write it down. I guess yeah, I'll deal with it next time. I'll bring Max in. I like Max.
Hey, dude.
What did you think about that conversation?
That was certainly a conversation. And I do have a good topic, but
That person
Dingo
had an
has...
accent. Would it be wrong for me to say
Yeah.
that I want to nuke their country now?